video was made to portray facts about an ongoing CPS case in Murray, Kentucky. In our opinion, there is corruption within the system. Some may call it the good old boy system. The images in this video are purely for representation and are not used to portray any likeness of any individual specifically in this case. In no way, shape, or form is this video meant to harass, slander, or make fun of anyone in this case. This video is simply portraying facts about the case and portraying what we feel is shady red flags, the buddy-buddy system, and what we feel is corruption for personal gain, agenda, or vendetta. Viewers may have their own interpretation. Hello everyone, and thank you for checking out this video. What you're about to see is a truly messed up case that my family and I are involved in. Please stick around until the end as things get really interesting. If you would like to help, one of the best ways is to like and share this video. The more people that see it, the more help we may get, and the quicker our family might be repaired. I will be narrating this entire video to help make it easier to understand. However, feel free to pause the video at any time to better view and understand the graphics. As well, you can reach out to me anytime simply by commenting on the video or sending me a message. So, here's our first slide. In September of 2021, my family, my significant other, and 2 out of our 3 children decided to move to Kentucky. Child X was left with his grandmother in Florida. He wanted to stay in Florida with his grandmother because his biological father was getting out of prison soon, and he wanted to establish a relationship with him. So my significant other thought that that would only be fair. In August of 2022, my significant other and 2 of the 3 children decided to move to Murray. February of 23, Child X had returned home to his mom in Kentucky because of issues he had with his grandmother and his biological father. April of 2023, my babe and I had a falling out. We had our ups and downs. One event led to harassment with contact. There were fines paid, courses taken, and we figured out how to fix our issues and reunite. May of 2023, Child X returns to grandmother in Florida because of being out of control in our house. Child X decided to portray false allegations and get CPS involved. July of 2023, Child X's biological father had passed away from a drug overdose while both him and the father were living in the house with the grandmother. So shortly after, Child X returns yet again to the mother in Kentucky. Mid-August of 2023, Child X returns back to grandmother because, again, out of control issues. So in and out of the house because of issues at both places. August of 2023, on 21st, the initial CPS case was closed due to unsubstantial evidence. So we received a letter from CPS stating that there was unsubstantial evidence to support the false allegations that Child X made to begin with. So anything previous to this date should be inadmissible, and I know I spelled the word wrong in the graphic. Anything previous to this date should be inadmissible in any court case going forward because Amanda did her investigation and found no substantial evidence to support those allegations. In December, specifically just a couple days before Christmas, Child X was actually court ordered to return once again back home to the mom in Kentucky because the grandmother decided to try and fight for custody. However, she portrayed a plethora of lies into court in order to gain custody of Child X, but the judge did her own investigation and found that the grandmother was lying and unfit. Then we go on to the next set of the timeline. On this last part of the timeline, there's something I want to point out very quickly. From the time that Child X returned home just before Christmas until our current date, he has been admitted to Vanderbilt or Cumberland Psychiatric for various incidences of assault, homicidal threats, suicidal threats, and sexual harassment or assault towards his own sister in front of his 3-year-old brother. All of this are in many police reports, and the total days that he has been admitted to one of the psychiatric hospitals has now reached 47 days. And back to the timeline, on February 19th of 2023, Child X sexually harassed or assaulted his own blood sister in front of his 3-year-old. Even in the report, there was a police report filed. Me and the mother were completely unaware of this and found out later, because who can actually anticipate this happening, especially when the adults in the middle of the afternoon decide to lay down and take a nap. We had no inclination that this was a possibility. So the following day, on February 20th of 2023, Child X was admitted to Vanderbilt Psychiatric. While he was there, out of retaliation, he decides to make false allegations about his mom and I. Towards the end of February 2023, Amanda Scott opens a case based on those false allegations made by Child X while he was admitted to Vanderbilt. I have to leave home. The interesting thing about this is Amanda Scott came over to the house to do an in-home consultation with me and my significant other, and Amanda Scott references the events between my significant other and I before the last case she closed. She uses this to support her recommendation of removing me from my home and family. Now remember, the last case that was open over false allegations, she closed it because of unsubstantial evidence, which mine and Courtney's fallout happened before this, and she knew of it and still closed it because there was no evidence to support the allegations made by Child X. However, in this new case, she wants to reference that same event and suddenly say now it's evidence of domestic violence in the house. Interesting. So on March 4th of 2023, Amanda Scott takes this before Judge Perlow, and Judge Perlow decides to agree with Amanda Scott's recommendation to have me leave the home, all based on false allegations. Did Amanda Scott portray to Judge Perlow any of the history of Child X? Absolutely not. Apparently, the judges just typically agree with the recommendations of CPS without doing any investigation of their own. So when Judge Perlow decided to agree with Amanda Scott's recommendations, Perlow appoints a family lawyer, Whitney Stringer, out of Coleman Law Firm on the Square, as Courtney's lawyer. I end up leaving the home and my family on March 6th. Still to this day, I am in the hotel doing this video, and it has now cost me and Courtney over $2,000 in expenses. Over $2,000 based on false allegations made by a child who was retaliating while admitted to Vanderbilt Psychiatric because he was caught and admitted to sexual harassment against his sister in front of his 3-year-old brother. Now we can get on to the twisted kickers. Amanda Scott, CPS investigator, opened the case based on false allegations made by a child who suffers from PTSD, mood disorders, positional defiant disorder, ADHD, type 1 diabetes, and impulse control disorder. These allegations were made while the child was in Vanderbilt Psychiatric because he admitted to performing a sexual act towards his sister in front of his 3-year-old brother. We told her that these allegations were fabricated and false. We told her we have witnesses who heard him say he made up the allegations intentionally to have me removed from the home, and then he laughed about it. We gave those written witness testimonies to Whitney Stringer, who should have shared them with Amanda Scott. On March 26th, almost a full month after the case was opened, Amanda Scott admitted on video that there was still no substantial evidence to support those false allegations.
So I take it there was no substantial evidence.
I don't have any right now.
And so we move on. Amanda Scott presented this case to Judge Stephanie Perlow along with her recommendations. The judge simply agreed. Why does the judge agree to such a drastic measure of removing an adult from the home based on allegations of a child while in the care of Vanderbilt Psychiatric? Possibly because Amanda chose not to bring up these mitigating circumstances? Could Amanda have implemented in-home services without removing an adult, especially being that her previous case was closed due to lack of substantial evidence supporting false claims from the same exact child? This portrays a personal agenda or a vendetta by Amanda Scott. I believe that if Judge Perlow were made aware of the previous case and were made aware of all of the circumstances surrounding the current false allegations, and may not have been removed from the home to begin with. Perlow then appoints Whitney Stringer to represent Courtney. Courtney and I meet with Whitney Stringer for an hour consultation. We provided Ms. Stringer with our story and a ton of evidence, including 3 written witness testimonies with names and contact phone numbers, who were in the presence of Child X when he said he intentionally lied to have JT, myself, removed from the house, and then laughed about it. Miss Stringer assured Courtney that she was not any kind of public defender. She was a real family law lawyer, and she would fight for Courtney. We have a recording of the entire session. Miss Stringer said that the testimonies were inadmissible and the witnesses would have to be subpoenaed. We said okay. Miss Stringer could have shared this information, also known as discovery, with Amanda Scott. Amanda could have called and questioned each of the witnesses during her investigation. At the end, we briefly talked about a lawsuit, to which Miss Stringer said, "Social services? I deal with them way too much. I would not file a lawsuit against them." And here's where things really start to get interesting. Courtney's first court date on April 8th, Courtney wanted to keep her teen daughter at home to watch the baby and miss a little bit of school at the beginning of the day for this court date. Amanda said no, the teen has to go to school, and you bring the baby to court where the CPS appointed in-house therapist will watch the baby while Courtney attends court. Courtney was there on time to plead not guilty alongside her lawyer. Her lawyer knew at the very beginning that Courtney was going to plead not guilty. However, interestingly enough, Courtney was not allowed into the courtroom. The in-house therapist said, "I have never seen anything like that in any other case before." Why couldn't Courtney be inside by her lawyer? Why did they make the teen go to school and make Courtney show up to the court hearing with the baby? If Stringer really fights for Courtney, why couldn't Stringer or Amanda call Courtney to tell her she does not need to show up? Could it be that Courtney would have revealed some hidden facts and ended this whole thing? The case was continued to May 6th, and I'm still not permitted to return home. And there is still no substantial evidence to support these false allegations made by Child X. To this day, Amanda still refuses to have Child X admitted again to a hospital. Amanda insists on sending Child X back to Florida with the grandmother, regardless of the fact that she even agreed that he will end up dead in his grandmother's care. Courtney had brought her concerns up to Amanda and Amanda's boss, Andrea, that the Child X's grandmother is not only unfit, but could never care for child X the way that Courtney does, as to checking his blood sugar 4 or 5 times a day, including at 2 o'clock in the morning, making sure that she is there to administer his insulin, making sure that he does not overeat. As well, it was court ordered that child X not be in grandmother's care to begin with because she was unfit. Courtney, the teen daughter, and the baby have to barricade themselves in their rooms every single night out of fear of being attacked or worse due to previous threats. And interestingly enough, the day I'm narrating this video today, there were threats last night made by child X to his sister that she better do a better job barricading herself. And then this morning, he threatened a 3-year-old who was washing his dinosaurs in the bathroom sink. He said, "I swear to God, you better move or I'm going to hurt you." He threatened a 3-year-old this morning. Amanda, Andrea, and Whitney say that Courtney and the family should not be living like this, yet insist that child X still remains in the home. Now, mind you, I'm still gone from all of these events. I haven't been in the home in a month and a half. So, in a month and a half, since I have not been in the home or around the children, child X has continued to rage, outburst, scream, swear, belittle everyone in the home, has attempted to assault his mom in a public gas station where he raised his fist and was about to swing on his mom in front of multiple witnesses, which you'll see their testimonies later. And he was kicked out of the gas station by one of the cashiers there before he was able to swing. And this child X continues to threaten his sister with violence. The appointed in-house therapist by Amanda Scott has changed nothing. And amazingly, Amanda Scott has spent her entire time trying to find evidence against me to keep me out of the home, but not focusing any attention on child X. So here's a little bit about me. This is me and the baby. I am not the biological father. However, you would be amazed how many people say he looks just like me. He has known me as daddy since 10 months old. He is now 3 years old. I've been in his life every single day up until this case when I was removed. What will my absence do to this child because of admitted false allegations by a rebellious, challenged child that is not fond of me or any kind of authority from anyone, including his own mother? My family is destroyed, only left with hopes of my return because I should have never been removed to begin with. My family should have never been left to live in fear to begin with. And Amanda, Andrea, Stringer, and Perlow could have done a better job in the best interest of all of the children. Since my removal from the home, the baby has now developed some nervous habits of chewing through sippy cups and on his t-shirts. Because of all of the witness outbursts and rage, the baby does not even have a relationship with his older brother, child X, and actually refuses to be near him, even in the home. The local police have been called several times while child X was or is in mom's custody. On several of those visits from the local police, some of their quotes are very interesting. "Can't tell you what I would do because my body cam is on. You should whoop his ass. CPS here is a joke." Those are exact quotes by several police during various visits to talk to child X. So here you see we actually get into some physical proof of everything mentioned in the video. Here is child X's, one of the admittance papers to Vanderbilt. You can see the date that he was in there, his diagnoses, the PTSD, unspecified mood disorder, oppositional defiant behavior, ADHD, type 1 diabetes, impulse control disorder. So there's physical proof of that. And then we go on to some of the actual police reports that were filed when the child was in the mother's custody. Charge 1, assault, 4th degree. I'm requesting to charge the child with assault 4th domestic for his assault on his mother, forwarded to the CDW for charges. Threatening to hurt people, threatening to stab people while they sleep, pushed and shoved me, threatened to kill his family in their sleep, did not make any threatening comments in officer's presence, of course, advised the mother to take the child to the ER to be evaluated, pushed his 12-year-old sister around, pushed adult male down and spit in his face, that was me, punched her in the mouth and then began kicking her in the leg and groin. That was what he did to his mom. No visible injury could be seen on her face, but bruising could be observed on her leg and revealed bruising above her groin area from where she was kicked. And the police officer said, I am forwarding the report to the CDW due to being a domestic assault and an ongoing issue with the child. Then we go on to the more extreme part, the sexual abuse 3rd degree. 14-year-old exposed himself to the 13-year-old's sister, and that was what happened in front of his 3-year-old brother. And I'm not going to go too heavily into details, but it did happen. He even admitted it, that it happened. Now, all of this is easily attainable information, yet Amanda says that I, as the stepfather, am the issue in the home, and she has me removed. So recently, like I said, we had witness testimonies from Courtney's friends who were with Courtney at the time when the child decided to almost attempt to assault his mom in a public gas station, and they heard some of what he had said. And these are just a couple of the witness testimonies. The son says, while laughing, all I had to do was lie about him, and now he's gone too. I asked him what he meant by that. He ran into Walmart, never answered me, yelling, ha ha. Another witness said, her son admitted to lying to authorities about JT. He has also admitted to threatening to not only hurt himself, but his siblings at home. And so, what has this done to our family and myself, other than completely tear us apart? Well, here you can see my hotel stay from March 6th all the way till April 10th. It has cost me almost $1,500, and that doesn't even include the current week that I'm in the hotel from the 12th to the 18th, which costs about $365 per week, and none of that includes the food that had to be purchased so I can eat for 42 days. We have tried several times to get Child X help, provide a good life for him. We have busted our asses to provide a better life for everyone, only to have it completely torn apart, only to have my family live in daily fear, especially with me not there, only to cost me everything. The twisted system and the buddy system could have done things differently to keep a family together. Instead, they ripped it to shreds. So there you have it. That is the entire case, as simplified as much as possible. If you have ever been through anything like this, if you have ever been screwed over by the system, then you know exactly what we are going through. We continue to hold on to hope that we'll one day bring our family back together again, and with enough work, we can dig ourselves back out of the massive debt we have been in. If you'd like to help in any way, financial would definitely help the best. Of course, there is my CashApp username. I plan on creating a GoFundMe, and yes, We find that a lawsuit is more than necessary at this point, but finding representation outside of this county or state seems to be extremely challenging. So, wish us luck. We appreciate everyone that's followed this case and watched this video. One of the ways that you can help, again, is to like and share this video. And yeah, hopefully everything gets back to normal soon. Hopefully I get returned back to the home soon, and we can once start rising again. So I appreciate your time, appreciate your views, and thank you for listening to our story. Thanks again.